Group Captain Angad Pratap. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. सर, हम आपसे अभी रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि आप कृपया अपना संबोधन दीजिए।
रिक्वेस्ट तो पहले ही कर लिया था। वैसे मैं अपनी बात प्रारंभ करने के पहले मैं एयर मार्शल डॉक्टर अनुपम अग्रवाल को मैं कांग्रेचुलेट करना चाहूंगा सबसे पहले। और सच्चाई है कि जब मैं उनकी बातों को सुन रहा था तो मुझे लगा कि एक बार इनसे मिलना चाहिए और स्पेस में जाने के लिए क्या क्या करना पड़ता है, क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं। जैसे उन्होंने कहा है ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स नहीं होती है तो हम सभी जानते हैं, लेकिन पीछे ऑक्सीजन हो तो आगे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का एक स्फीयर बन जाता है, उसमें क्या क्या चैलेंजेस सामने आते हैं। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से हमारी क्यूरियोसिटी पैदा हुई, क्योंकि मैं भी एक साइंस का स्टूडेंट रहा हूं, कि और कुछ जानने की, स्पेस में जाने पर क्या क्या चैलेंजेज फेस करने पड़ते हैं और उसको कैसे हमारे गगन यात्री उन चैलेंजेस को मीट आउट करते हैं। बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। जनरल अनिल चौहान जी, चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ, एयर चीफ मार्शल एपी सिंह, चीफ ऑफ एयर स्टाफ, एयरफोर्स के फॉर्मर चीफ्स, ग्रुप कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला, ग्रुप कैप्टन पीवी नायर, ग्रुप कैप्टन अजीत कृष्णन एंड ग्रुप कैप्टन अंगद प्रताप। अंगद, जहां पैर रख दिया। और डॉक्टर डीके सिंह, डायरेक्टर ह्यूमन स्पेस फ्लाइट सेंटर्स इसरो। कहाँ है डॉक्टर डीके सिंह? अच्छा, वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छा। और हमारे डॉक्टर अनुपम अग्रवाल जी, हमारे रक्षा मंत्रालय और आर्म फोर्सेस के सारे ऑफिसर्स, मेरे वैज्ञानिक साथियों, एवं थिंक टैंक्स के स्कॉलर्स, हमारे एयर वॉरियर्स और यहाँ मौजूद सभी अधिकारियों के परिवारजन और प्रिय बच्चों तथा मीडिया के मित्रों, सबसे पहले मैं ग्रुप कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला को एक्सम मिशन 4 के लिए सेलेक्ट किए जाने की बड़ी और ऐतिहासिक अचीवमेंट पर ढेर सारी हार्दिक बधाइयां देता हूं। और मैं यहां मौजूद ग्रुप कैप्टन पीबी नायर, ग्रुप कैप्टन अजीत कृष्णन और ग्रुप कैप्टन अंगद प्रताप का भी अभिनंदन करता हूं। यह बात सही है कि कोई किसी से कम नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ मुकद्दर की भी बात होती है, क्योंकि हमारी यह निश्चित धारणा है साइंस का स्टूडेंट होने के बावजूद भी कि मनुष्य के जीवन में क्या इस होल यूनिवर्स में जितनी भी एक्टिविटीज होती हैं सब कुछ प्री डेस्टिन्ड है। और आप चारों का भी सिलेक्शन हुआ ट्रेनिंग के लिए, तो यह भी मैं मानता हूं कि परमात्मा ने पहले से ही इसको निर्धारित कर रखा था कि आपको यह अवसर जिंदगी में प्राप्त होगा, और वो अवसर आप सबको प्राप्त हुआ है। आप सभी ने ट्रेनिंग के दौरान जो टेम्परामेंट दिखाया वह अपने आप में न केवल इम्प्रेसिव था, बल्कि मैं कहूंगा कि एक्सलेंट था। और आप चारों सचमुच हमारे लिए रत्न हैं। न सिर्फ आप चारों रत्नों बल्कि आपके परिवारजनों को आपकी सफलता के योगदान के लिए और इस सफलता में योगदान देने वाले अन्य भी व्यक्तियों को तथा समस्त देशवासियों को मैं इस मंच से बधाई देता हूं। और इस समारोह के माध्यम से आप सभी का सम्मान करके मुझे बेहद खुशी हुई है। खुशी ही नहीं हुई है, मैं स्वयं को भी गौरवान्वित महसूस कर रहा हूं। आमतौर पर हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस का कोई व्यक्ति या कोई ग्रुप जब एवरेस्ट या और सफल माउंटेनियरिंग के बाद लौटता है तो मेरी यह कोशिश रहती है कि मैं उनसे मिलूं। कोई अथाह समुद्र को मापते हुए मिशन को पूरा करता है, तब भी मैं उनसे मिलता हूं। उन सबको मैं बधाई देता हूं। शुक्ला का स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हुए गर्व की अनुभूति हो रही है। और साथ ही उनके अन्य जो साथी हैं, ग्रुप कैप्टन पीवी नायर, ग्रुप कैप्टन अजीत कृष्णन और ग्रुप कैप्टन अंगद प्रताप, मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा आप सबके ऊपर समस्त देशवासियों को आप सब पर भी नाज है। और नाज इसलिए है कि आप सब ने देशवासियों का मस्तक ऊंचा किया है। साथियों, हम बचपन से ही आसमान को बड़े कौतूहल से देखते आए हैं। आप में से कुछ लोग गर्मी के मौसम में रातों में छत पर जरूर सोए होंगे। मैं तो सोया हूं, पता नहीं आप सोए हैं कि नहीं सोए हैं। हम सब जब सोते थे तो कभी आसमान के रंग को देखते थे तो कभी हम लोग तारों को देखते थे। हमें लगता था कि काश हमारे पास भी पक्षियों की तरह ही पंख होते और हम उड़कर आसमान तक जाते। कहने का मतलब है कि करीब करीब हम सब का सपना हमेशा से आकाश छूने का रहा है। आज हम सब जिनके स्वागत समारोह में एकत्र हुए हैं, इन्होंने अपने साथ साथ हमारे सपनों को भी जिया है। और मुझे लगता है कि हमारे सपने हमें शुभांशु से और शुभांशु को हमसे स्वाभाविक रूप से जोड़ रहे हैं। साथियों, यदि स्पेस और उसके एलिमेंट्स के साथ हमारे रिश्ते की बात की जाए तो आप देखिए कि स्पेस हमारी प्रकृति का तो पार्ट है ही, साथ ही साथ हमारे ऋषियों ने हमेशा से स्पेस को अध्यात्म, धर्म और ज्योतिष की दृष्टि से देखा ही है। उन्होंने इसे जिज्ञासा और रिसर्च की दृष्टि से भी देखा है। प्राचीन भारत के खगोलविद आर्यभट्ट और भास्कराचार्य ने उस विज्ञान की नींव रखी थी जिसे आज आधुनिक दुनिया स्पेस साइंस कहती है। हमारे पूर्वज स्पेस को लेकर एक बेहद समृद्ध विरासत हमें सौंप गए और आज आप देखिए कि वही परंपरा हमारे वैज्ञानिकों, हमारे युवाओं और हमारे अंतरिक्ष यात्रियों में उसी जिज्ञासा और साहस के रूप में जीवित है। यहाँ पर बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे होंगे जो कि साइंस बैकग्राउंड के हैं और हम सभी जानते हैं कि स्पेस साइंस यह विज्ञान का एक फ्रंटियर एरिया है। जिस प्रकार आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, क्वांटम फिजिक्स, एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स और जेनेटिक्स विज्ञान के फ्रंटियर एरियाज हैं, उसी प्रकार स्पेस साइंस भी विज्ञान की एक फ्रंटियर एरिया है। और इस एरिया में प्रगति करने के लिए निश्चित तौर पर हमें एक टॉप क्लास साइंटिफिक इकोसिस्टम चाहिए होता है। और मैं समझता हूं इस दृष्टि से भी भारत निरंतर प्रयत्नशील है और आगे बढ़ रहा है। साथियों, आज का भारत अर्थ के सरफेस से ऊपर की दुनिया में लगातार आगे बढ़ रहा है। और आज जब हम भारत की स्पेस जर्नी की ओर देखते हैं तो हम पाते हैं कि हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन केवल स्पेस में उपग्रह भेजने तक सीमित नहीं है। आज भारत चंद्रमा से लेकर मंगल ग्रह तक अपनी उपस्थिति दर्ज करा चुका है। आज भारत गगनयान जैसे मिशन के लिए भी पूरी तरह तैयार है। साथियों, मैं इसे केवल तकनीकी उपलब्धि के रूप में नहीं देखता, बल्कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत का वह नया अध्याय है जहां हम विश्व की बड़ी स्पेस पावर्स के बीच पूरे गर्व के साथ खड़े हो रहे हैं। साथियों, भारत का अंतरिक्ष कार्यक्रम केवल लैबोरेटरीज और लॉन्च व्हीकल्स तक ही सीमित नहीं है। यह हमारी राष्ट्रीय आकांक्षाओं और वैश्विक दृष्टि का एक प्रतीक है। चंद्रयान से लेकर मंगलयान तक हमने यह सिद्ध किया है कि सीमित संसाधनों के बावजूद इच्छा शक्ति यदि असीमित हो तो कोई भी लक्ष्य हमारे सामने स्वाभाविक रूप से छोटा पड़ जाता है। साथियों, भारत का विजन स्पष्ट है। भारत स्पेस को केवल रिसर्च के क्षेत्र के रूप में नहीं देखता है, बल्कि हम इसे आने वाले कल की इकोनॉमी, सिक्योरिटी, एनर्जी और ह्यूमैनिटी के फ्यूचर के रूप में भी देखते हैं। इस स्पेस से प्राप्त टेक्नोलॉजीज, चाहे वह संचार उपग्रहों, मौसम की निगरानी से संबंधित हों या प्राकृतिक आपदाओं से निपटना हो, आज भारत के गांव-गांव और खेत-खेत तक वह अपनी सेवाएं दे रहे हैं। और आने वाले समय में स्पेस माइनिंग, डीप स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन और प्लैनेटरी रिसोर्सेज भी मानव सभ्यता की दिशा बदल देंगे, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। इसलिए इस यात्रा में भारत पीछे नहीं रह सकता। हमें आगे बढ़ना है, हमें नेतृत्व करना है, और यही कारण है कि आज हम अपने उन नायकों का अभिनंदन कर रहे हैं जो केवल अंतरिक्ष यात्री ही नहीं, बल्कि इस राष्ट्रीय स्वप्न के अग्रदूत हैं। और मुझे यह भी बताया गया है कि आज से 40 साल पहले जब राकेश शर्मा भारत का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हुए अंतरिक्ष में गए थे, तो उसके कुछ ही समय बाद शुभांशु शुक्ला का जन्म हुआ था। उनके जन्म के साथ ही जन्मा एक सपना, एक दिन मैं भी आसमान में इस धरती को देखूंगा। और आज 40 साल बाद न सिर्फ शुभांशु के बचपन का देखा सपना पूरा हुआ, बल्कि भारत भी एक बार फिर अंतरिक्ष तक अपना परचम लहराया। और मैं जिस पार्लियामेंट्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी लखनऊ से आता हूं, शुभांशु शुक्ला वहीं के रहने वाले हैं। ये हमारे वोटर भी हैं। साथियों, जब हम स्पेस की बात करते हैं तो हमें यह याद रखना चाहिए कि मानव शरीर मूल रूप से टेरेस्ट्रियल एनवायरनमेंट के लिए ही बना है, यानी हम सिर्फ धरती पर रहने के लिए बने हैं। इसलिए जब कोई मनुष्य अंतरिक्ष में जाता है तो स्वाभाविक रूप से उसे माइक्रोग्रेविटी, रेडिएशन एक्सपोजर, आइसोलेशन और कन्फाइंड एनवायरनमेंट जैसी कई चुनौतियों का सामना उसे करना पड़ता है। और इसके अलावा स्पेस मिशन पर जाने वालों को कई प्रकार की साइकोलॉजिकल और साथ ही साथ फिजियोलॉजिकल भी जो चेंजेज हैं उनका भी सामना करना पड़ता है। कई बार लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन मिशंस में एस्ट्रोनॉट्स के रेजिलियंस और वेलबींग को बनाए रखना भी एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती हो जाती है। इसलिए एक अंतरिक्ष यात्री के लिए फिजिकली, मेंटली और इमोशनली और साइकोलॉजिकली अपने आप को तैयार रखना यह बहुत ही आवश्यक हो जाता है। ऐसे में इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एरोस्पेस मेडिसिन मुझे यहाँ जाने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। लोगों ने कहा था कोई डिफेंस मिनिस्टर शायद गया नहीं है या पहले कभी कोई गया होगा, तो मैंने कहा जब कोई नहीं गया है तो मैं जरूर जाऊंगा। और ऐसे में इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एरोस्पेस मेडिसिन एक अंतरिक्ष यात्री को ट्रेन करने में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाता है। मैं कुछ समय पहले वहां गया भी था। उनके इक्विपमेंट और वहां की ट्रेनिंग का माहौल मुझे बहुत ही इंप्रेसिव लगा। और हमारे साथ जो लोग भी थे, मैंने उनसे इसकी चर्चा भी की थी। और अभी हमारे सामने उसी इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एरोस्पेस मेडिसिन की सफल प्रतिमूर्त के रूप में शुभांशु दिखाई दे रहे हैं। और मुझे देखकर गर्व हो रहा है कि शुभांशु ने वह जिजीविषा व साहस दिखाया है जो भारत की मिट्टी का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है। और मैं मानता हूं कि हमारे शेष जो तीनों हैं, बस अवसर मिल गया होता तो शायद ये भी किसी से कम नहीं थे। यही कारण है कि शुभांशु शुक्ला जैसे व्यक्तित्व हम सबके लिए गर्व का विषय है। मुझे जानकारी दी गई कि सामान्यतः एस्ट्रोनॉट्स की ट्रेनिंग प्रक्रिया 2 से 2.5 वर्ष तक चलती है। क्यों डॉक्टर साहब, सही है? लेकिन शुक्ला जी ने अपनी लगन और समर्पण से इसे मात्र 2.5 महीने में पूरा कर दिया। मैं समझता हूं यह उपलब्धि न केवल उनकी व्यक्तिगत क्षमता का प्रमाण है, बल्कि हम भारतवासियों के परिश्रमी मन का भी यह प्रतीक है, उसको भी सिंबलाइज करता है। आमतौर पर एक रक्षा मंत्री के रूप में जब भी मैं रक्षा क्षेत्र से जुड़े हुए किसी संस्थान में जाता हूं, तो मैं उनसे सिविल और मिलिट्री फ्यूजन की बात भी मैं करता हूं। मैं उनसे ऐसे प्रोडक्ट बनाने पर भी, ऐसे टेक्नोलॉजी इंट्रोड्यूस करने पर या ऐसे काम करने पर भी जोर देता हूं जो डिफेंस सेक्टर के लिए तो काम करें ही, साथ ही साथ सिविल सेक्टर के लिए भी काम करें। शुभांशु शुक्ला उसी सिविल मिलिट्री फ्यूजन के प्रतीक हैं। वे भले ही वायुसेना की वर्दी पहनते हों, लेकिन जब ये अंतरिक्ष में गए तो केवल आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के ही नहीं, भारत के ही नहीं, बल्कि पूरी मानवता के वह प्रतिनिधि बने। और मैं कह सकता हूं सिविल सेक्टर को आपका यह कंट्रीब्यूशन, यह इतिहास में दर्ज किया जाएगा। और मुझे बताया गया कि आपने स्पेस में खेती भी की है। और मैं बतला दूं, ये किसान परिवार से आते हैं और आपके अंदर का किसान स्पेस में जाकर भी बाहर नहीं निकला। भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश रहा है और भारत का कोई किसान स्पेस में जाकर मेथी और मूंग की खेती करेगा, इसकी कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकते थे। और कभी हम लोगों ने सोचा भी नहीं था ऐसा भी होगा। निश्चित रूप से आपका अनुभव हमारे आगामी मिशंस में बहुत ही मददगार सिद्ध होगा, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। मुझे यह भी बताया गया कि आप बजरंगबली के भी भक्त हैं और श्री हनुमान जी के हनुमान चालीसा तो कई बार पढ़ी होगी आपने वहां, जब ऊपर नीचे जो हुआ होगा। और हनुमान जी के बारे में तो कहा जाता है कि बाल्यावस्था में भी उन्होंने सूर्य देव को फल समझकर निगलने का प्रयास किया था। और वह कथा केवल एक मिथक नहीं, बल्कि जिज्ञासा, साहस और असीम ऊर्जा का यह प्रतीक है। आज वही भारत भूमि जहां ऐसे देवताओं की लीलाएं हमारी कथा और हमारी कहानियों में हैं, वहां से निकला हनुमान जी का ही एक भक्त आसमान की ऊंचाइयों को छूकर लौटा है और हम सभी के बीच में मौजूद है। और मैं मानता हूं यह केवल एक विज्ञान की विजय नहीं है, यह एक विश्वास की, साहस की गूंज है। यह केवल एक टेक्नोलॉजिकल अचीवमेंट नहीं है, यह साधना का संदेश भी है। ऊपर जाना ये कोई सामान्य बात नहीं है, स्वयं में एक साधना है। और यह केवल भारत का गौरव नहीं है, यह संपूर्ण मानवता की प्रगति का एक प्रमाण है। जैसा कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी कहा था, यह स्पेस यात्रा का अंत नहीं, बल्कि एक यह शुरुआत है। अभी भारत को स्पेस सेक्टर में बहुत लंबी यात्रा तय करनी है। और साथियों, आज हम एक ऐसे युग में प्रवेश कर चुके हैं जहां अंतरिक्ष केवल सैन्य शक्ति या टेक्नोलॉजिकल स्किल को ही सिंबलाइज नहीं करता है, यह मानव सभ्यता की सामूहिक यात्रा का एक नया पड़ाव है। भारत ने हमेशा विश्व को वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का संदेश दिया है, द होल वर्ल्ड इज अ फैमिली। और आज अंतरिक्ष में हमारे वैज्ञानिक और हमारे अंतरिक्ष यात्री उसी संदेश को नई ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचा रहे हैं। साथियों, ग्रुप कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला की यह यात्रा आने वाली पीढ़ियों को प्रेरणा देती रहेगी। यह बताएगी कि चाहे राह कितनी भी कठिन क्यों न हो, यदि हृदय में श्रद्धा हो और कर्म में शक्ति हो, तो आकाश भी हमारी सीमा नहीं रह जाता है। आज जब हम उनका अभिनंदन कर रहे हैं और साथ ही साथ ग्रुप कैप्टन पीवी नायर, ग्रुप कैप्टन अजीत कृष्णन और ग्रुप कैप्टन अंगद प्रसाद का भी अभिनंदन कर रहे हैं, तो मैं केवल इतना ही चाहूंगा कि आप सबने न केवल भारत का नाम रोशन किया है, बल्कि आपने संपूर्ण विश्व को यह संदेश दिया है कि एक आम भारतीय वह सब कर सकता है जो दुनिया असंभव समझती है। इन्हीं बातों के साथ मैं एक बार फिर आप सभी रत्नों को और आपके परिवार के सभी सदस्यों को अपनी तरफ से हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं और साथ ही साथ उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए अपनी हार्दिक आयु में बड़ा होने के कारण शुभकामनाएं भी देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद महोदय। हम आपके प्रति हृदय से आभार प्रकट करते हैं कि आपने अपने व्यस्त समय से समय निकालकर हमारे बीच पधारे और हमें सम्मानित किया। अब वह घड़ी आ गई है जिसका आप सभी को प्रतीक्षा थी। मैं अनुरोध करना चाहूंगी ग्रुप कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला को। मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी आदरणीय रक्षा मंत्री जी का, जो हमारे बीच आ जाए। अब किसी कारणवश वह यहां से जाएंगे। धन्यवाद महोदय कि आपने अपने इतने व्यस्त समय से समय निकालकर आप इस प्रोग्राम में हमारे बीच आए। अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगी आप सभी का कि अपना अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें।
On June 25th, 2025.
Captain Shukla, are you ready for the ride?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
The skies lit up with a new chapter of India's space journey.
For 3 nations, a new chapter in space takes flight.
Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla of the Indian Air Force, flying for ISRO, became the first Indian to live and work aboard the International Space Station. This was not just one man's mission. It was the dream of a billion hearts. For the first time since 1984, our tricolor once again floated proudly in the silence of space. And this is just the beginning. India now prepares for its first human spaceflight, the Gaganyaan mission. A team of trained astronauts, our future Gaganyatris, are ready to carry the nation's dream into the vast expanse of space.
You see the symptom, we help you find the cause. Book fever package advanced. 49 tests at rupees 1100 only. Get tested now.
Namaste. I am Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla.
During his mission, he and his crewmates carried out advanced experiments in microgravity, from tiny organisms
अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगी ग्रुप कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला का कि वह मंच पर आए और अपने अस्मरणीय इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन में बिताए पलों से हमें अवगत कराएं। सर प्लीज। यस।
Jai Hind, everyone. Before I begin, I would like to say A.V.M. Agarwal has already said that I have a habit of speaking less. It's not really a good platform. I've been given 30 minutes to speak. I will try and make up for it. Jai Hind to each and every one of you. I wanted to start this talk today that I have on a different note, but when I arrived here today, I was so overwhelmed by the familiarity of what this is, what I have been used to all my life. People in blue, familiar faces, old friends, everything just came rushing back to me in my head. So first of all, let me say that how happy I am to be back in this hall with all of you. We've been away since 2020, but this just feels like home. I do have a few anecdotes, and I would start with the experience that A.V.M. Agarwal mentioned, that he was explaining to you about space flight, how in space, if you're standing and breathing, you will have a carbon dioxide pocket in front of your face, and oxygen would be coming behind you, and that would cause drowsiness or headaches or space fog. Your mind will stop working. I don't know, a lot of you would be aware, but Indian Air Force has been efficiently replicating this same phenomena in the briefing rooms. When the flight commander is sitting in front of you with the FRC in hand and asking you emergencies, suddenly, I didn't know, but it was carbon dioxide. Anyways, my story, I heard Chief of the Air Staff also mentioning, I came across on the internet that accidentally he filled up the form for NDA. And I have a very similar story. I did not intend on joining the defense, but I did. And I filled up a form which one of my friends bought. And eventually one thing led to another. I cleared my returns, and thereafter the SSB and the medicals, and landed up in the NDA. And I remember I was sitting in the officers' mess, waiting for getting allotted whichever squadron I have to go to, and I had another kid next to me who came, and he was sitting. He was from Sainik School, Tilaiya, and I had a purely civilian background. And then the adjutant came, and he started inquiring him, okay, so which sports do you play? And he started, I play football, I play hockey, volleyball, basketball. I think he said everything. And then he turned to me and said, what do you play? I said, cricket. And he said, okay, both of you go to the hunter squadron. And I had no idea of what it is, but I suddenly saw this guy next to me. He started sweating. And by the time we walked to this squadron, he was really jittery, and I was the one consoling him. So what? It is another squadron out of the 15th squadron. It doesn't matter. Little did I know that we started sweating once we entered the squadron, and it never stopped for next 3 years. Why I say this is important, because I think those 3 years really prepare you well for anything that life throws at you in future. When you have gone through those hardships very early, anything that comes your way in future, you are prepared. And I think this is very easy, a comparison. Difficult times, whenever you face them, you can go back to those times and say, is it worse than that? And I can tell you, nothing is worse than that. So it really sets you up for life. It sets you up for success. When I joined the Air Force, as a personality, I would say I was really shy, reserved, and sometimes, doubting yourself whether you are good enough, or your decisions are good enough, or whether you belong in the group we are talking about. But I think Air Force picked me up from that position and brought me to where I am today. And I think that has been very transformational for me. I would say that Air Force in general, but cockpit in particular, has been my greatest teacher in life. And you come across various things, various situations, and then you go from one situation to another, and you learn so many things that really develops your character. And I owe it to this uniform that I'm wearing, whatever time I've spent, to be the person that I was, who was ready to fill in the role that I'm filling right now. So thank you to the Indian Air Force. And sometimes, so I said I was reserved and shy. I think the Air Force took me from that spectrum and put me on the other side. And so when I went for this mission, my commander was Peggy Whitson, who is the most experienced American astronaut, having spent 695 days in space. I think she beats the record of some satellites as well. But when I first met him, my first joke to her was that, and I think a lot of you would already know this, but the joke was that, do you know what is the difference between a god and a pilot? And she said no. And I said, the God doesn't think that he's a pilot. So moving on, the journey in the Air Force has been great. I think I was commissioned in 2006 and I got posted to various places. In 2013, I got the opportunity to do the fighter combat leader course at Gwalior, which I really enjoyed. And thereafter, I was posted in Srinagar for a short stint, and I decided I wanted to be a test pilot, and I applied for that course. I had finished my course in 2018 when this announcement was made by the Honorable Prime Minister from the Red Fort that very soon a son or daughter of India would fly to space. And in 2019, as sir was mentioning, that the circular for selection came. And there were certain QRs or criterias, and I was there. I was not eligible in the original QRs because they wanted at least 2 years of experience as a test pilot. And I was really sad, and I was thinking, what should I do? I do not even qualify to apply. I went to my OC at that time, and I said, sir, I would really want to apply. Can we get over this QR requirement or something? And he looked at me and he said, after 41 years, this opportunity has come. Do you think anybody cares about QRs? Everybody in AST has applied. Just go and apply. Nobody cares. So I did apply, and then obviously the next 6-7 months were very grueling. Doctors became our worst enemies during those few months. I did not say to them then because they were doing my selection, but I did think in my mind that they were blood-sucking vampires. Whenever you go to IIM, they would be standing with those tubes. Like, we want 50 ml, we want 100 ml. Like, it was a grueling experience, but it was type 2 fun. The fun that is only good in hindsight. You really don't enjoy it when it is happening. Sir has already given a description of how it happened. We went to Russia, we came back, and then we went a few times. And then once the 4 of us were selected, we landed up in Russia and we started training with the cosmonaut group at the Gaganyaan Cosmonaut Training Center. And I think that was a very fascinating experience for me. It was not very different from what we do in the Air Force. Like, the training is similar because you are supposed to be interacting with the machine. And so the pattern is similar, but there are certain aspects which come in because when you go to space, you really are going to be living by yourself. So you have to learn various other disciplines which are not usually a part of our training. So I think that was very enlightening and enriching for us, this entire training in the Soyuz. We got trained as the flight engineer from the left seat of the Soyuz capsule, and we came back. We came back and we started working with ISRO for the project mission Gaganyaan. And we started interacting with designers of how to evolve our own capsule to make it as robust and as reliable as all the other capsules are. But then suddenly in 2023, I think this announcement was made again by the Prime Minister when he went to US, and he said that we should have a US-India collaboration and a mission to space. And as a follow-up of that, Axiom 4 mission happened. Axiom 4 mission was a 2-week mission to the International Space Station. And my profile in this mission was as the mission pilot. So there is a commander, there is a mission pilot, and then there are 2 mission specialists. As a mission pilot, you are supposed to be interacting with the displays, with the capsule itself. So your training is slightly different as compared to the mission specialist. So you get additional training at SpaceX as well as rest of the common training that you do at NASA. For the past 1 year, this entire experience has been nothing short of wonderful, I would say. It is very similar to what we did in Russia, but a very different approach of implementing or executing this entire mission. And I would be showing some glimpses and try to explain what I did in the past 1 year. But the point that I want to highlight before I move on to that section of my talk is that whatever I have done, whatever I have gone through, and whatever I have achieved, I feel that the background that I had, or the preparation that I had for years by being in this uniform and by being in the Air Force, that any one of us who's sitting here would have done an equally good job. And that is the confidence I carry with me whenever I see whatever life throws at you, the kind of character that Air Force has built up for all the people sitting here. So with that, what I would like to do now is get into I have a few videos of my training that I would like to show and try to explain of what we did in this past 1 year. I also have a small clip from space that I try to capture of India. And India does look really beautiful. I'm not just saying it because all of us are Indians and we are sitting here, but I think that if you speak to any astronaut who is there on the station, the unique positioning and the shape, especially during night, if you pass over India from the Indian Ocean, south to north, I think it is probably one of the most beautiful sights that you can ever see in your life. And I would try to share that with you, and hopefully you will like it. So what you see here is the Johnson Space Center, and this was the place where we primarily did our training as far as the International Space Station was concerned. This is the crew. We have the Peggy Whitson, Tibor Kapu, Slavosh, and myself. And the background that you see is a huge simulator of the entire International Space Station, the mock-up. So any training or any system that you have to train on, you train in this mock-up, and you read the procedures, you prepare for them, and then they give you situations, and you go in the mock-up, and they're sitting outside as a control room, and they're looking from outside in and analyzing and evaluating each and every action that you're doing. Like with the flying training, the majority of the time that is spent training for space missions also is for the off-nominal situations, or what would you do if something would go wrong. 70 to 80% of the time is spent on those situations, and only 20 to 30% is what you would normally do. Because normal procedures, all help is available, time is at hand, it's not a critical situation. But in case something was to go wrong, you would really be required to act accordingly. So all these systems, let me put it this way. When you go to the International Space Station, you are essentially living in a new house. And it has its own rules. It has its own sets of terms and conditions. Like how would you eat? How would you sleep? How would you go to the bathroom? And actually, that is the most challenging task, to go to the washroom in space. And so you have to learn about each and everything on ground. So this is me preparing food. So these are dehydrated packets, there is no water, and you put it in the PWD or the water dispensing machine and just fill it up and try to eat out of the packets. The challenge while you are up on the International Space Station is that the help is not readily available. You do not have access to any specialist. So that is why you have to be trained as medical professionals for first aid. You have to be trained as engineers for maintenance. You have to be trained as scientists for performing experiments. And at the same time, you have to learn how to do photography and videography, and also to how to speak on camera, because everything that has to be done on the station has to be done by you. There is nobody else who's going to come and assist you. So that is the aspect of training which was slightly different from what we do here as a part of our training. There is a huge team that is responsible for different aspects of our training. Like you see, we are sitting and we are just, I think we had some 20 odd classes about these photography and videography, because when you go up there, you would really like to bring back memories or snapshots or pictures so that you can share it with all of you, which I would try to do today. Hopefully I've done a good job and you guys will like it. When you're training, essentially, there is one important aspect, that when you're training for these space missions, you always have someone who is sitting by the side as a part of your training, who is just observing and making notes. And later on, in case they observe that some aspect was missed out or not covered, even by the instructors, that is brought out in the next session. So the process that is followed is really important. Ankit, can we do the next one? Okay. This was the fun part of the training. So other than the technical part, there is also an external part of training, which is preparing the team, preparing them for leadership, preparing them for camaraderie, which kind of we all already do within the Air Force. But this is how they prepare you for leadership. So we were on a beautiful coast in Mexico, and we were going for kayaking. And you set out on camp, and for 6 days we were out in the ocean and camping on a deserted island, just the team by themselves, just carrying these rations and camps. The most unique part about all these trainings were that they were very, very well planned, and you didn't have to struggle for something. Especially, I remember one aspect of the survival training, when we were doing the survival training, and they said that you have the ration, you have the capsule. What you have to do is, for 3 days, just be here and survive. And I was like, we don't have to run. There is nobody coming to catch us. Like, there are no trap set elsewhere. So I feel the survival training that we have in Air Force is you are sent to fend for yourself in the jungle or in the snow. You don't have to survive. You have to hide. If you get caught, then your mission is over at that point of time. So I think the training out here was much easier in terms of these aspects. The Air Force really prepares you very well. And I think it was a luxury to do this at the same time, learning the aspects of camaraderie and the team spirit. But what I realized or understood, that for people who come from different domains of life or from different disciplines, these are really crucial and important aspects to understand and learn when you are working together as a team, and you're going to be in a space when there is no help, and you have to be each other's support system. So all these aspects are extremely important for spaceflight. And in the behavioral health program that NASA conducts for all the astronauts, wherein people from different countries or different cultures, they come, and so you have to be sensitized of what is important to someone and what is not important to someone. One aspect always emerges very high, and the aspect is that you have to be a team player. If you are not a team player, then you are not fit for spaceflight, because it doesn't work. You are in a confined environment for long periods of time, which is stressful, which is not ideal. And if you cannot work along well with the team, then the chances of mission success get compromised. So I think this was, I cannot highlight it enough, but this was the most important aspect as far as the working of the team was concerned. Then we had centrifuge. The centrifuge and all training we already do within the Air Force, but this time the axis is slightly different. So we do from head to toe, and they do from the chest inside. And the reason is that in case there was an abort of the capsule at a high altitude, then you would really be exposed to something around 16 to 18 Gs. And head to toe in the Z-axis, it would not be possible for the human body to take it. And that is why you tilt the seat and you use the axis of the chest, which can take more. This is the WSTF facility, wherein they train you for the helicopter ride while you're coming back from the ship to the coast. In case the helicopter was to go into the water and it capsizes, how would you train, or what would you do? So these are those aspects of the training. Like I said, all these aspects, all the physical training, all the water training and everything that I did, I really enjoyed it, because I felt it was really easy as compared to what we do here in the Air Force. And it was fun to do, and it was really, so most of the times when this was happening, I would sit around and I would try to look as if this is very stressful and it is very challenging, but I really was enjoying this, because this was really fun. After this video, I think I will move on to the video of showing you how India looks from space, and also culminate with a mission recap of what we had. I already saw some clippings were already played in the video that was played earlier. But before I move, I have something to say to the kids who are sitting behind. When I started out or joined the NDA, I did not know probably anything of what I want to do with my life. And as I said, that I was really shy and probably underconfident, probably reserved, and guessing myself about everything that I was doing. But what I would like to say to you is that at every step, if you keep looking at what is in front of you and not think about what this will lead to in future, and move from this step to the next step to the next step, I think that is what has brought me here, and it works really well. You do not have to worry about your entire life right now. You just have to think what is there in front of you at this point of time. Right now, we are at a stage in our country wherein I said this when we were kids, when I was small, as even Honorable Raksha Mantri was mentioning, that I was born 1 year after Commander Rakesh Sharma traveled to space. But I grew up listening to stories. But the thought of becoming an astronaut never really took roots because there wasn't a possibility. We did not have a program. But today, that has all changed. When I was on orbit, I had 3 interactions with kids, 1 live and 2 through the ham radio. And in all these 3 interactions, what was very heartening to me was that at least there was 1 kid in each interaction who said, "Sir, please tell me, how do I become an astronaut?" And I think that is the big win for our country, because we've already got these minds triggered. They are already thinking, the minds are churning now, and the rest is just enabling them. So we have the time, we have the capability now. It is apt. The place where we want to go, that is moon in 2040, we would need the support of all of you. So please keep dreaming big, be curious, and who knows, one of you will be setting the foot on moon for India one day. Okay. Like sir said, this is probably the maximum that I can speak. And so I will move on to the videos that I have. But before I play this video, what you would see is this is the Earth upside down. And the green glow that you see is prevalent in the upper layers of atmosphere because of oxygen atoms which are there, which get excited. So you will continuously see the green glow. On the bottom of the screen are the stars. And the top portion would be the Earth. And we would be passing over India. And so this is the general setting of the scene. So I would be quiet now and I would let you watch the video. The flashes that you see are the thunderstorms, the lightnings that are happening. Here it comes. That is Bangalore and Hyderabad. And as we pass over this, you will also see the orbit, sunrise from the orbit. So this was the site that you saw 16 times a day. So, and you never really get bored of it. During this mission, for 18 days, I carried with me 7 experiments which were prepared by the Indian researchers. And I never really thought, but it was really challenging to do this in space because everything changes. The space around you changes, your body changes. And the orientation of space from 2D to 3D happens. And it takes some time for your brain to get rewired to it. If I have to give an example, all of us are sitting on these chairs in this auditorium. If the same thing was to be in space, probably some people would be hanging from the ceiling, on the walls, and you just try to find space everywhere because it's a 3D utilization of space and everything floats. So the enabling of the experiments also has to be thought in a way wherein you fix everything or you place everything so that you don't miss it. If you lose something, be rest assured you will never find it. And the smallest thing that we lost were M&Ms, while eating food. And the biggest thing that we lost was a laptop. So, and it can go away. You will never really find it. So a lot of things are missing on station, and there is a huge poster which says "missing in action" and rewards in terms of anybody who finds it, and that keeps on going. But when we first go to the space, your body undergoes a lot of changes. The fluid shifts from your legs to your head. Your head becomes really big. When I was interacting with the Honorable Prime Minister from space, you would probably have observed that my head was much swollen, much bigger than what it is right now. And your heart rate slows down because your heart doesn't have to pump the blood against gravity to your head. So when I came back, I did not observe it in the space, but when I came back, my normal heart rate was around 92, 93. So it has to pick up back again when you come back. You don't feel hungry. Everything in your stomach starts floating. Like all the stuff, it is just up your chest. So I did not really feel hungry for 3 to 4 days. And every second day is slightly better than the previous one. What was fascinating to me was that all our lives, we have evolved in this environment of gravity, and our body knows nothing else. But when we reach there in space, within 3 to 4 days, your body quickly adapts and it says, okay, this is the new normal. And you start behaving normally when you're up in space. And after the 4th day, everything is okay, absolutely fine. When you come back after 20 days, when I came back, I remember this very distinctly. We were in the capsule and entering the plasma, and the G load started to build up gradually. I was not looking at the display. We were trying to look outside the window because we wanted to see the fire. And I remember I was lifting my neck and I felt, wow, this is heavy. The neck feels heavy. We must be under some G loads. And I look at the display, we were under 0.3 G. So the shift is so distinct. I remember even while opening your eyes, your eyelids feel heavy. Any kind of movement, this feels heavy because your body is used to no effort, nothing. And suddenly you're coming back into this effort. And I think I still tried, but up to 1.8 G, I could keep my neck up, and then it was just not possible. I had to go back in the seat. After splashdown, I remember we were off the coast of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean, and there were waves, and the capsule was oscillating. Fortunately, I did not feel nausea, but my commander did feel some. So she was not feeling okay. So when they brought us on the ship and they were taking her out, I really was under the impression I'm feeling perfectly all right. They will lift me up and I will walk. And because she was picked up and then carried and then they took her away, I really thought that I would be able to get up and I would start walking. And when they lifted me up and I took the first step, and I fell down, like they had to hold me. Then I said, okay, the second step. I took the second step, I fell down again. And then by the third step, I realized that this is not happening. It is not that you're not having the strength. It is that your brain does not know of how much effort it takes to walk again. The rewiring of the brain has to happen in the few days. So again, it takes for your body 3 to 4 days to